This is our last educative example. Then we start to examine practical positions, games that were really played. Of course, this game also was really played, but I just show you a fragment. And this is my last educational example dealing with king and king safety. Here white played queen d5, and many players wondered why. I want to introduce you king safety, and the best fortress for black regarding the pawns if you don't touch them. This means don't move pawns when you castled, after you castled, because here they are most stable. There are no weaknesses here. If you move any pawn, you weaken your position. It's not completely clear how much you weaken your position if you move one pawn, but you should be aware if you move one pawn, you weaken your position, and try not to move one pawn if possible. So if you are not forced to move a pawn, leave them where they are. This is the best position for the pawns. White wants to attack because he castled queenside, black castled queenside, sorry, and black castled kingside. So heterogeneous castling, this means one player wants to attack, white player wants to attack the black king. So, but first he must create some weaknesses. He must provoke weaknesses. Usually this only works by attacking weak squares, but white does not really have many pieces to do this. For example, weak squares are h7 or f7. The other way is to rush the pawns as far as possible and then maybe sacrificing one or the other pawn. So black has to move one pawn forward. White chose the other way. He played queen to d5, and the players, the spectators, did not really understand why Sweetler played queen d5. I have to agree, maybe I also would have played g4 or maybe h5. I'm not really sure. But after some consideration, I understood the concept behind this move. Maybe white wanted to create some weaknesses, and which he finally did. And the other concept behind this move is, of course, he wants to bring the strongest piece, the strongest attacking piece into the attack. So the queen on d2 has not really considerable impact on attacking, but on d5 it's already one step away from the king side. Black tried to exchange the most dangerous attacker by queen c6, and he would be happy with the doubled pawn, because no attack is possible anymore, and also white has one double pawn here. So white refused the exchange. He wants to keep the attack intact, so he refused. Black wanted to bring his queen to a better position by queen c4, and white played king b1. This is a very a move with many points, because he does not want to weaken the the queen side, the security of the king. And the other reason is, now white is safe from checks from this diagonal. Black now played g6, maybe not necessary, because the threat knight g5 maybe can be answered by, as I show you, knight g5. Maybe you can take here. Okay, the h-file opens, but maybe you can protect with the knight on f8. I'm not sure, because it's a little bit, I would be scared about the position, but maybe it's possible, because white can double up in the h-file, and I'm not really sure if black can hold this position, but of course black has some defensive moves like queen e4. Okay, but I think Kramnik is a better player than me, so g6 makes more sense. Yeah, white has to go back from this active position to h3, which is not really a good square, unless white is allowed to play h4, h5, opening up the h-file. Then black's king has a real problem. So black played h5, preventing from this. Now white wants to play g4, but this point is twice covered by the pawn on h5 and the queen on g4. So this is not on c4, so this is not possible. So white tried to sidetrack black by playing bishop d2, and now a very surprising move was played by Kramnik. He played queen e2, and on the natural move rook e1, black played queen g4. Now the players wondered, and I also wondered, why didn't he play queen g4 immediately? He could have played, but I think the reason is Kramnik saw very far ahead, and he saw it's favorable for him if he can, like in this position, exchange the rooks in the e-file. Okay, you might ask, oh, what are you talking about? There are 1, 2, 3 pieces in the e-file, but as you see, Kramnik perfectly understands to clear the pieces out of the e-file, and he does not even lose time, because all moves look very logical. Okay, white still is in attacking mood. Of course, he does not want to exchange the queen, so he moves back to the last possible field that's available, and that's h2. Okay, looks very passive, but there is the threat of f2, f3, and g2, g4, and he does not care about pawn sacrifices, because he likes to open up the lines for the rooks. So black played d5, another very purposeful move, because the black king, the white knight, sorry, now is not able to conquer the square e4 anymore. And it also frees the lines, the diagonals for black's bishop on e7. White played f3, this is the plan I just talked about. Okay, I thought maybe what's the queen doing here? I would not feel very happy to side place my queen on a rather passive and pointless field like a4. But I think first of all he had to go somewhere, and the second reason is it covers the rook, as we will see in some variation. White continued his attack with g4, and he would be happy if black takes on g4. Then h5 follows, and white has a considerable attack. Black cleared one piece from the e-line, playing bishop d6. The white queen is forced to go away, and now there is another clearing move, bishop knight to g7, which has a positional foundation, because now if white takes on h5, black recaptures with the knight on h5, And now the positional structure of the pawns is terrible regarding white's view. Because here we have an isolated pawn, here we have an isolated pawn, but black has a perfect pawn chain. So black tried out to get a field on e4 for the knight, and sacrificed a seemingly worthless pawn because it's a doubled pawn. Now he played bishop d4, and he wants to create some pressure by bishop to c3 and queen to d4. And if you remember the one example where we put a strong bishop on the long diagonal, followed by the queen conquering the same diagonal, and white could not resist these strong attacking pieces, then you will understand the dangerousness of this constellation. Black played queen c6, which is a very nice move, because now if white plays knight e4, black indirectly covers this field. Now he can play bishop e5. Now he gets rid of the bishop here. So white chose the other option, bishop c3. Now he wants to play queen to d4. And yeah, what else could we play? This worsens our position again, does not make really sense. And what else is threatening? If I do nothing with white, if I have no idea, then black would play rook to e1. And after recapture, black can again swap rooks by playing rook to e8. So we see the point from the why black plays the queen on the diagonal here, because the rook on e8 is covered. So white played bishop c3, renewing the threat queen to d4. Yeah, black prevented this by playing bishop to c5, and white played queen to g3. After queen g2, I think black would have played, after queen g2, black would have played h takes g4, and f g4 is impossible, which would maintain the good pawn structure for white, but unfortunately it's impossible due to queen takes g2. So white escaped to g3, and now Kramnik, of course, was happy because the pawn on c4, okay, he's up material, but white still is attacking, and the position looks still a little bit critical. So he was happy with a draw, which was agreed after a repetition of moves like queen f2, bishop c5, queen g3, and bishop d6.